And when they were gone, I ordered Orneus be brought forward and said to him, "Tell me how you know this." And he answered, "We demons ascend into the firmament of heaven and fly about among the stars. And we hear the sentences which go forth upon the souls of men. And forthwith we come, and whether by force or of influence, or by fire, or by sword, or by some accident, we veil our act of destruction. And if a man does not die by some untimely disaster or by violence, then we demons transform ourselves in such a way as to appear to men and be worshipped in our human nature. I therefore, having heard this, glorified the Lord God, and again I questioned the demons, saying, "Tell me how ye can ascend into heaven, being demons, and amidst the stars and holy angels intermingle?" And he answered, "Just as things are fulfilled in heaven, so also on earth are fulfilled the types of all of them. For there are principalities, authorities, world rulers, and we demons fly about in the air, and we hear the voices of the heavenly beings, and survey all the powers, and as having no ground basis on which to alight the rest, we lose strength and fall off like leaves from trees. And men, seeing us, imagine that the stars are falling from heaven. But it is not really so, O king, but we fall because of our weakness, and because we have nowhere anything to lay hold of, and so we fall down like lightnings in the depth of the night, and suddenly, and we set cities in flames and fires in the fields. For the stars have firm foundations in the heavens, like the sun and moon. Ephesians chapter 6, verses 10 through 13 says this: "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand." Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 22 says, "My face will I turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place. For the robbers shall enter into it and defile it." Second Esdras chapter 15, verse 25 says, "I won't spare them. Go away, faithless children. Don't defile my sanctuary." In John 10, verse 1, Jesus says, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber." So that's just a few scriptures. I'm trying something here. We'll see if it works. I have my desktop. Let's see here. Let's try this. Okay, good. Hopefully this doesn't screw up my like my computer. So if it's not working well, maybe let me know in the chat. Welcome everyone. So I was going to show you something. I know, like, before we look at this, I know a lot of you think that this is real, and a lot of you think that this is fake, basically, and like space is fake. Okay, and I want to sort of speak about something else other than those topics. So I know it's easy to I know it's easy to say, well, that they're just goofing around, they're just putting on a show for the world, for the world stage. They're putting on this show. And I understand that, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I think that there's something that's a different topic than like how real or how much of a deception this kind of thing is. But we're going to look at it because of some reason. Now, if you did pay attention in that first video, that was from the Testament of Solomon that we just watched. And he was questioning a demon about how this demon had heard that a man was going to die, and he knew 3 days before the man died that he was going to die. So Solomon was very interested in how he knew that he was going to die. And the demon said, "We fly about among the stars, and they can only do it for so long, and then they fall because they don't have any foundation in the heavens." And what's interesting about that is that if we look at something very interesting, well, let's look at it right now. In Daniel, there's a word. Whoops. There's a word that is a ram. But I learned something about this word. And I want to show it to you because very likely Daniel was talking about a ram. That's a word he used. Okay, so he sees, let's see here. And I saw in this verse 2 in Daniel 8, and I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at the Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high. But one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. So when I first was looking at this, I'm thinking, okay, so there's a ram that's like taller than him because he had to lift his eyes. And I'm going, okay, let's look at that word. So I did. We'll just look at that verse, and then we'll hit this Hebrew button. The Hebrew button. So, Red Scout, that's correct. A ram is a male lamb that grows up. That's true. But when I looked at this word, let's call it, because it is, the definition of the word is a ram, and I think it means the animal. See, look at it. The word is AYIL, and the definition is a ram. So I was like, where else is this used in the Bible? It's used as a ram, just like the animal, Let's go in here a bit. Used as a noun, masculine, for a projecting pillar, pillar or pilaster. And that's in, I think, Solomon's temple and Ezekiel's temple. Do you guys know what a pilaster is? I'll show you. It's like a column or like a pillar that's kind of built into the facade of a building. It's like, let's see. These here, see how they're kind of built into the building? That's what a pilaster is. And then a header board like this is called a lintel. But yeah, so I started saying to myself, that's interesting. So let's just look at this word though. So a projecting pillar or pilaster, and in Strong's Exhaustive Concordance it says mighty man, lintel, which is like that header, like a strong structural header, oak, post, ram, tree. Okay. What I'm trying to point out is I'm not trying to change anything about what Daniel saw. But if we look at what this ram in his... Sorry, my computer is taking a second. Unless I didn't hit the button right. Okay, I think I didn't hit the button right. Sorry. Let's see here. Okay, I'll just go back to the whole KJV thing. The interesting thing about this ram that he saw is at the end of this story, the ram flew up to the stars, you guys. So I think, and it almost sounds like it has like stage separations. I'm serious. Look, so he sees this ram. It says, I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beast might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great. And as I was considering, behold... Now look at this, you guys. If you don't read this with the right frame of mind, it's easy to just pass it off as something weird or whatever, but hold on. This is talking about low Earth orbit in this next verse. Just watch. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat. So that's like a goat, you know, like an animal. But maybe Daniel was describing it the best he could. But it said, came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. What would that be? West on the face of the whole earth. So it's going west on the face of the whole earth. And it wasn't touching the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. Let's just go back to this page quick. Look at this once. Whoops. Dragon. Look at this. Here, while that's opening up, let me... let's just look at some images. I just want... Because this makes sense to me, okay? It makes sense to me in a real way. I don't know. You guys see what these look like? You know what they look like. Okay, but it had a notable horn between its eyes. Not two. Well, look at this. Oh, I don't know if how I got to do this. Okay, there we go. If you look at that, would a person 3,000 years ago call that maybe a he-goat with a notable horn between his eyes? I have no idea, but it's what this thing does. You know how Sean from Kingdom in Context he always talks about the context. Like what is the context of whatever one verse or something like that? You have to understand kind of around what's being spoken or whatever to make sense of that verse, right? Well, my point here is that this ram and this he-goat, they were like fighting, and the ram pulled the he-goat all the way up to the stars, you guys. That's the... Okay, I'll just read it quick. It's only like 10 verses, but... Okay, so he did according to his will and became great. As I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth and touched not the ground. The goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram. Let me just show you something. I'm stopping there really quick. This rocket has decimated all of space travel, or whatever you want to call it. It lands. Look at 174 times it's landed. And again, I don't want to focus on whether it's real or not, like whether the landings are fake or real. That's not the point here. Because I think that the people that see it as fake, they're right. Even if it's physically real. Even if you go to Florida and you actually see something come out of the sky with a big sonic boom and everything, there's a big group of people that have come up in the world, or like recently have realized that all these kinds of efforts are for nothing. And those people say space is fake. And if you think about it, so all these landings and everything, how can all be fake if people watch it happen in Florida? Like a lot of people. Well, because some people don't believe in it. Some people do. That would be the difference. That's why I think it would matter whether it was real or fake. I think it matters. There's a reason why these beasts come into the world that these prophets saw. And it wasn't just to distract people. They ended up destroying the world. And we're going to look at some verses where that happens. I mean, let's give an example right here, right now. And then we'll go back to Daniel. But so this is Enoch chapter 57. He sees something very similar. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons and men riding thereon and coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it. And the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day. Okay, so Enoch saw people riding on some sort of vehicle in the sky, and it was a super loud vehicle, and the sound even got the angels' attention. And the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and the sound there was heard. Think about a rocket. Just think about it. So back in Daniel 8, watch what happens. Okay, ran into him in the furies. Sorry. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his two horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. So this he-goat, I said it wrong, the he-goat's like pulling the ram up to the sky. I was thinking of the opposite in my head for some reason. But it's the he-goat that's pulling the ram. It says there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came... Oh, let's just look at this. Okay, the reason why I'm showing you guys this stuff is not because it matters like this, but I just want to show you. That's the trunk, okay? And it does break. It like breaks. Let's see what it said here. The great horn was broken, and for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. Towards what? Toward the four winds of heaven. Little parts of a sentence can mean a lot. So, and that says, and out of one of them came forth a little horn. It sounds like the stage separations. Which waxed exceeding great toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. I think the pleasant land would be like New Jerusalem. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven. And it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them. it just seems to me that when we go over to, like, John sees beasts in the book of Revelation too. And I think he sees the same thing. He sees a dragon instead of a he-goat. But there's a... yeah, let's see here. Okay, so back to Starship. Okay, this thing is huge, you guys. It's going to be louder than any rocket, I'm sure, has ever been. It is 120 meters, 394 feet tall. I think it's 33 feet in diameter. So it's the largest rocket that's ever been attempted to reach orbit. They're going to be just under orbital velocity. Yeah. Thank you, Thomas. That's in Revelation 7. So what good point, Thomas. Thank you. In Revelation 7, there's 4 angels holding back the 4 winds, and it was given to those angels to hurt the earth and the sea. I'll just read this. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. So the winds are real, aren't they? Here, let's look at this real quick. Enoch really gives a lot of description about the winds. He said he saw the treasuries of the winds. I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation. So, wait a minute. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. Remember, it moved the pillars of the earth out of their place. This all has to do with the winds. So what I'm trying to point out is that it's a real thing happening. Whether or not space is fake or real. These rockets and the sound they make are real. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. Now look at this. I saw the 4 winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. So what do foundations do? Would they bear something? What if we looked at this word? Carry the weight of, support? Would pillars or foundations, is that what they would do? Carry the weight of or support? I think that's what they would do. So what is that actually saying about the 4 winds? What do? They are the foundations of the earth. They're the pillars of the earth. And the firmament of the heaven. They hold up and support the earth and the firmament of the heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of the heaven. I saw the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and all the stars to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the paths of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. He also saw a prison for stars and the host of heaven, evil stars, stars that transgressed. Yeah, they were orbiting a fire. And the stars which roll over the fire, are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising. That's why they're called planets, you guys. That's why they're called planets. Let's look at the book of Jude. I just want to show you. They're called planets. There's a reason why, though. Because that word planet comes from a word which means to wander or a wanderer. Let's look at this. Okay, so which verse? Let's just look at the Greek. Oh, I guess I got to go to the exact verse. So, was it 13? Stars and okay. So see where it says wandering? This word is it's where planet comes from. And my computer's just a little bit. Did I click it? Yeah, I think I did. It's just waiting. If I had some elevator music, I'd play it. It looks like I don't have a very good signal. I hope I do. I hope you guys can hear me okay. Let's just, sorry guys. I don't know what it's doing. Oh, I think I didn't click it or something. Wandering. Sorry. Okay, planetes. Planetes. A wanderer. Look at this. A wandering star. Planet. A false teacher. Operating without moral compass and other aims people. Prompting them to also stray from God's circle of safety. Sound doctrine. Where does it say? Oh, yeah, if we look at planeo, which is to cause to wander, lead astray, deceive, cause to wander. But look at this right here. Planeo, right here, is the root of the English term planet, wandering body. Look at what this word is in Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. Deceive, err, seduce, wander. So in 1 John 2 something, he says he said, how do you, these things I write to you concerning them that seduce you. The word he used there was planeo. Seduce. Same word that planet came from. The English term planet. That's where it came from. Okay. So, these planets that go around the sun, they're in a prison and they're evil spirits, you guys. Oh yeah, and look at this. Where are they? They're in a place. Okay, beyond that abyss, I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water upon it, and no birds, but it was a waste and a horrible place. I saw their 7 stars like great burning mountains, and to me when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, this place, look at this, you guys. This place is the end of heaven and earth. Let's just think about that. So this place where there was 7 stars that transgressed against what God commanded the stars to do. And when we look up at the sky, we see 7 planets that are doing something different than the fixed stars are doing, which is every other star in the sky. So what doesn't that match? Look at it, even says the stars which roll over the fire. Solar system. So the solar system isn't a vast universe of empty space. It's actually a bottomless abyss of darkness. And it's a prison for the stars in the host of heaven. Now look at this. Do you guys remember in Genesis 6? Should we look at that? We probably should. Let me just go to Genesis once. And we're just going to look at a little something that happened that the next chapter in Enoch refers to it. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And, okay, there are... It's not really a debate. Like, some people say that these aren't angels. They're clearly angels. And they did something that's mentioned in 2 Peter, I think, or yeah, I can't remember, 2 Peter 2, about them being cast down to hell under chains of darkness. The angels that left their first estate. So it says here, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after, and the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men. Oh, look at that. Mighty men. That's what that word ram, that was another thing that it said for the word ram in Strong's. It was like mighty men, lintel. So I don't know. Interesting. Which were of old men of renown. Okay, so where were we here? Look at this. So this is back to Enoch chapter 19. And Uriel said to me, here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women. That's what we're just looking at in Genesis 6. And their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. You know, think of what the whole space exploration thing is. We're going to Mars. Just think about that. Mars is a spirit. Look what it says here. They're spirits assuming many different forms. Maybe like to look like places. Yeah, Thomas, I'm going to be talking about that. You guys, there's something that I think is amazing, and I don't really even understand it yet. Really. So these spirits, right? They're defiling mankind and leading them astray. There's that word again. That would be planet. Lead them astray. We were just looking at it. To cause to wander, to go off course, to sway, or to, what was it? To go away from, here we go. Let's see here. To deviate from the truth or something? Where was that? To roam from safety, truth, or virtue. Go astray, deceive, err, seduce, wander, be out of the way. That's planet. That's what that word is. That's crazy to me. Planet means to deceive, to err, to go astray, to cause to go astray, to lead astray, lead aside from the rigid way, to go astray, wander, roam, to be led into error, to be led aside from the path of virtue, to go astray, sin, to wander or fall away from the true faith. You guys, this word has a really negative vibe to it. It just does. Planeo. And that is, where does it say it? It's the root of the English term planet, wandering body. This term nearly always conveys the sin of roaming. Anyway, so he says, till the day of the great judgment in which they shall be judged till they are made an end of. Look at this, though. Thomas just brought this up, and I want to show you something that's crazy. Okay, we got to go to chapter 10. Okay, so like we can learn the fate of these fallen angels, the ones that came down and took wives, and also we find out the fate of their offspring, like their sons or whatever, the mighty men, okay, men of renown or whatever, men of old. Okay, so we'll start in verse 8, or oh wait, let's just start in verse 6. And on the day of the great judgment he shall be cast into the fire, and heal the earth which the angels have corrupted. And so the angels have corrupted the earth, and proclaim the healing of the earth, that they may heal the plague, and that all the children of men may not perish through all the secret things that the watchers have disclosed and have taught their sons. And the whole earth has been corrupted through the works that were taught by Azazel. To him ascribe all sin, and that the watchers have disclosed. Oh, I'm sorry. I got to learn how to read here. And to Gabriel said the Lord, proceed, or what? And to Gabriel said the Lord, proceed against the bastards and the reprobates, and against the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornication, and the children of the watchers from amongst men, and cause them to go forth. Send them one against another, that they may destroy each other in battle. For length of days shall they not have. And no request that they, i.e. their fathers, make of thee shall be granted unto their fathers on their behalf, for they hope to live an eternal life, and that each one of them will live 500 years. And the Lord said unto Michael, go bind Semyaza and his associates, who have united themselves with women. So these are those same Genesis 6 angels. Have united themselves with women, so as to have defiled themselves with them in all their uncleanness. And when their sons have slain one another, and they have seen the destruction of their beloved ones, bind them fast for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth, till the day of their judgment and of their consummation, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. Okay, I'm going to stop there, but we're going to look at verse 13 in just a second. So, after their sons killed each other or whatever, it says, or the Lord told Michael to bind them for 70 generations in the valleys of the earth. Okay? And then it says, till the day of their judgment and of their consummation. So there's two judgments. It says, till the judgment that is forever and ever is consummated. So there's two judgments. So they're going to be bound in the earth for 70 generations. And when that judgment is over, they're going to be, right here it says in verse 13, in those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and the prison, which they shall be confined forever. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations. So look at though. I gotta get Isaiah opened. Let me just show you something. Okay, at Enoch, I think it says in the first chapter. Let me look. Don't worry, I'm getting to something interesting here. Okay, I don't know if it says that he's the seventh from Adam right here. But Enoch is the seventh from Adam. Seventh generation from Adam. I don't remember where it says it. Yeah, I don't remember where it says it. Somewhere it says he's the seventh. Okay? And look at what I learned. So from Adam to Jesus, generations, I saw there were 77. Okay? Look at that. 77. So 70 generations. Enoch was seventh from Adam. So it just so happens that this judgment aligns with the coming of, or aligns with Jesus Christ, with his generation. And just by chance, that's when these, where was that? I went to the wrong chapter. Look what it says here. Bind them fast for 70 generations till the day of their judgment and of their consummation. In those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire. I wonder who led them off to the abyss of fire. Remember Jesus went into the heart of the earth? I think he did a lot in the heart of the earth. I think he moved the heart of the earth. In those days they shall be led out off to the abyss of fire, right? Well, let's look at Isaiah. There's something in here that's interesting. It says hell is moved from beneath. And I don't really know how to read that other than what it says. It's in chapter 14. Okay, let's just read it. Triumphant exaltation over Babel. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou was made to serve, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. Okay, let's just pay attention to what this is all saying. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations with anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. Think about it, guys. This SpaceX is Luciferian. That's obvious. What does SpaceX do? What does NASA do? What do all these space explorations? Look at. They do what Lucifer says. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. NASA just says we'll put our space station above with the stars. It's the same thing. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. The sides of the north. Let me just duplicate this page and show you something. Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God, in the mountain of his holiness. Beautiful for a situation, the joy of the whole earth is Mount Zion, on the sides of the north, the city of the great king. So Lucifer says he's going to have his congregation in the sides of the north. Then he says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. They're launching this in the morning. Or they're going to attempt it. A bunch of Luciferians working 24 hours a day to do this. They don't even know they're Luciferians. Let's see here. Oh, you guys. So, these... 70 generations in the valleys of the earth. I think Jesus took them from there and led them off to this of fire, which is like low Earth orbit. It's like a bottomless abyss of darkness. I mean, if you're biblical cosmology or whatever, flat Earth, true Earth, there is a story in the book of Genesis. And you know how God made a firmament? And he called the firmament heaven? Well, there was darkness at the beginning, and God divided. He said, okay, I'll read it. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. The night sky, what some people call space, or, I mean, let me show you one of, remember we were looking at Daniel, and it said it was moving over the face of the whole earth without touching the ground. Let me go to, I guess I got this one. Yeah, we'll just open this. Let me go to Zechariah, because it says the same thing in a vision that he saw. Oops, Zechariah. I'm just showing these to you guys because they're written in the Bible. It's not me making it up or something. So Ezekiel sees a flying roll. Huh, interesting. A flying roll. A flying roll, you guys. Or scroll. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. That's like low Earth orbit. I'm trying to point this out. Low Earth orbit. That's just the modern thing that people call it. But if you go into the firmament, it's a different environment. And it's not even necessarily a physical place like they are treating it. And that's why tomorrow is no good. That's why I named this stream No Good. I don't know the future. Let's look and see what time they're launching it, Thomas. It's a flight test. 9 hours. I should just stay live the whole time. Let's see. Yeah. 7 a.m. my time. And it's 9:49 p.m. right now. Okay, so Zechariah, I saw something going forth over the face of the whole earth, and it was a roll, a flying roll. Okay. Let's put our thinking caps on. So I know a lot of people, like I bring some of this stuff up to some people, and they go, what does it matter? What does it matter? You don't know he saw that. You don't know what he saw. And I'm like, except that he told us what he saw. He said he saw something flying, and he called it a roll, and he even gave the size of it. And then the angel told him it was a curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth. Okay, let's go back to Daniel. So Daniel 8 was what we were looking at. But that was like the second part of the vision that he had. He had, in Daniel 7, he had his first vision of it or whatever, where he saw 4 beasts. But just pay attention to some of these things that it says. Look at, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea. Which sea? Well, look, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heaven strove upon the great sea. Remember what Enoch said about the winds of heaven? Where was it? Did different chapter. It was in chapter 18. Look at, I saw the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and the stars to their setting. So the winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. Those are the waters above. They're the waters above because they're the four winds of heaven. They're turning. That's what people call the ether or whatever. That's where you get your 15 degree per hour drift from a Ringlay's gyroscope. Light, the lights in the sky, the lights in the darkness, where we were in Genesis. I mean, he called it night. And then God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so, and God called the firmament heaven. See that? He called the firmament heaven just in the same way that he called the darkness night. Night. That's up. That's the sky. When the sky's dark. That's night. That's darkness. So, like in Ephesians where it says, the rulers of the darkness of this world. Or when the angels are cast down to hell under chains of darkness. There's a dark place at the end of heaven and earth. So where would the end of heaven and earth be? That would be where the firmament is. Because the firmament's called heaven. And the earth, or the winds of the earth that carry the clouds and that are the foundations of the earth, they're bearing the earth and the firmament. Just think about it. There's a place that's dark between earth and heaven. And there's not just a dark place there. There's many things there. There's a great divide, and there's a place where I think it's called paradise, or maybe New Jerusalem, or some people would even call it like the Garden of Eden. That place is there. And where are they sending these rockets? They're going out to the outer, I don't even know what you'd call it. They're going to the outer darkness. That's what Jesus called it. Outer darkness. Yes, it's above you in the sky, but yet it's not. It's a deception that they think they're exploring space, that they think they went to the moon. None of that's real. It's all a trick. Remember what Enoch said? Or Uriel. Uriel said it. Here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. Little g gods. Oh yeah, let me just show you chapter 17 too. And this is why I think astronauts are not really what they sell themselves to be. And this is where it sounds crazy, because I know people think it sounds crazy if I told you that an astronaut was an unclean spirit, like that NASA and everybody has been entertaining angels, fallen angels, without knowing it. And they took and brought me to a place in which those who were there were like flaming fire, and when they wished, they appeared as men. And they brought me to the place of darkness. See, you guys, look. I'm not making this stuff up. I'm trying to go to Genesis and learn what darkness is, and it says it's the night. That's what God called it. He called it night. So there are these flaming fires, and they could look like men. And they brought me to the place of darkness and to a mountain, the point of whose summit reached to heaven. And I saw the places of the luminaries and the treasuries of the stars and of the thunder and in the uttermost depths. So the treasuries of the stars and of the thunder sounds like they're up above us, but they're in a place, the uttermost depths. Just think about it. They say they go sideways 17,000 miles an hour, and then they never fall, right? Where were a fiery bow and arrows in their quiver, and a fiery sword and all the lightnings. And they took me to the living waters and to the fire of the west, which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to a river of fire, in which the fire flows like water and discharges itself into the great sea towards the west. I saw the great rivers and came to the great river and to the great darkness, and went to the place where no flesh walks. Just think about that. Darkness, astronauts, they're in a bottomless pit. I don't think they're even people. I'll show you why. This is where we get to watch a video. I could go on for probably forever like this, but I see awful things coming. Like, I don't know the future, but the prophets saw some very descriptive things that really seem to describe this new technology that we've been seeing. Let's see here. Where do I gotta go? Let me find a video file. Okay, this is just from the Testament of Solomon. We're gonna watch the whole thing. It's like 6 minutes long. It's called The Demon in Arabia. Try to grasp what this story is trying to say, because this story is about a demon of the wind. Okay, it's very important, I think, that we understand how strong the wind is, and just keep in mind what we've been talking about when at the end of this part of the Testament of Solomon, when he sees a great pillar flying through the air, and it's demons that are doing it, but people can't see the demons. And at the very end, like, this is why I think that there's scary things coming.
Those days there came to me a letter from Adares, the king of the Arabians, saying, To King Solomon, greeting. We have heard of the wisdom that has been given to thee, and that thou art a compassionate man, and that thou hast power over all spirits that are in the air, or on the earth, or under the earth. Now be it known to thee that there is a destroying spirit in this land. For every day at dawn there arises a wind which blows for 3 hours, and it is so venomous that every one on whom it blows dies, and it kills the cattle also. Now therefore we entreat thee in thy wisdom to devise some means, and if it may be, send us a man who can capture the spirit. And if thou canst do so, then I and my people will be tributary unto thee, and Arabia shall keep peace with thee. And we beseech thee, make not light of our petition, for we are in a great strait. And so farewell. When I had read this letter, I folded it up again and gave it to my chief counselor, saying, Bring it again to my remembrance after 7 days. Then I thought upon the matter, and after the 7 days I called one of my servants and said to him, Make ready a camel, and get an empty wineskin. And he did so. Now the wineskin was made of a whole hide of a beast, so that it had the upper parts of the 4 legs remaining upon it, the legs being sewn up, and the neck open. I said to him further, Take this ring, and go into Arabia, to the place where the venomous wind blows, and take the skin, and hold the ring in front of the mouth of the skin towards the wind, so that the wind shall blow through the ring. And when the skin is blown up, you will know that the demon is inside it. Then hasten and tie up the neck of the skin, and seal it with the ring, and put it upon the camel, and bring it to me. But if on the way the demon promise you gold and silver and treasures to let him go, see that you do not obey him, but rather make him reveal to you where the treasures are hid, and mark the places, and come on to me. Now go, and good success be with you." So my servant set out and came to Arabia, and the men of the country doubted much whether he could capture the spirit. But when the day was dawning, even the first day after his coming, he rose up and set the skin with its mouth towards the wind, and laid the ring in the mouth of it. And the wind blew through the ring, and entered into the skin, and puffed it up. And the man caught the neck of the skin, and closed it, and sealed it with the ring in the name of the Most High. Then he abode yet 3 days in the place to make trial of his success. But the poisonous wind blew no more, so that all the Arabians were assured that the demon was safely shut up. And they rejoiced greatly, and gave him many precious gifts, and did him great honor. And when he set forth to come back to me, they accompanied him to their borders. So he brought the skin back to Jerusalem, and put it in the midst of the temple. Now at this time I, Solomon, was somewhat troubled, because I had a great stone made ready to be placed upon the corner of the temple, and none of my workmen and none of the demons were able to lift it and set it in its appointed place. But I was exceedingly desirous to put it there, because it was of such beauty and excellence. And on the morning after my servant was come back out of Arabia, I went down to the temple, thinking by what means I could lift the stone. And as I entered the temple, I saw the skin, and it rose up and hopped 7 paces, and fell on its face, and did obeisance to me. And I marveled, and bade it stand up, and it stood on its feet, puffed up with wind. Then I asked, "Who are you?" And a voice answered me from within the skin, "I am Ephippas, who dwell in Arabia." And I said, "What can you do?" And it answered, "I can overturn kings' palaces, and wither the green trees of the wood, and I can move mountains." Then I said, "Are you able to move this stone, and lift it up and set it upon the corner of the temple?" And it said, "Not only can I do so, O king, but if I have the demon that is in the Red Sea to help me, I can bring up the great pillar that is there, and set it in whatever place you command." So I said, "Lift up the cornerstone." And the skin first of all became flattened, as if the wind was gone out of it, and slipped itself under the stone, and then it blew itself out again, so that the stone was lifted up upon its back, and it walked upon its stumps, bearing the stone to the ladder, and climbed up, and set the stone safely in its place upon the corner of the temple, and I was greatly rejoiced, and all Jerusalem with me. After that I sent Ephippas to fetch to me the demon that is in the Red Sea, and commanded them to bring with them the great pillar. And after a while I saw the pillar being borne through the air, and was astonished at the strength of the 2 demons. And when I considered with myself how mighty they were, and how they could shake the whole world in a moment of time, I feared to let them go. I made therefore a circle about them in the air with my ring, and said, "Stay there." And the demons stayed, holding the pillar sloping between heaven and earth, and there they are to this day. And if anyone looks, he can see the pillar sloping in the heavens, but the demons he cannot see. But when they let fall the pillar, then will be the end of the world.
To blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven.
And if anyone looks, he can see the pillar sloping in the heavens, but the demons he cannot see. But when they let fall the pillar, then will be the end of the world. And if anyone looks, he can see the pillar sloping in the heavens, but the demons he cannot see. But when they let fall the pillar, then will be the end of the world.
Okay. Did you catch that? So there's some demons of the wind. And that's, now a lot of people, if I said the Testament of Solomon, they'd go into this debate mode And they'd say, I don't think the Testament of Solomon is a valid book. That's not a... And they would be like, it's not in the Bible, and it's not... I don't care. Did you hear what it just said? Sometimes you don't need to know where a book comes from if there's something in it. Okay, put it this way. That book, the Testament of Solomon, I don't think anyone would argue with me if I said it's been around before rockets existed. Okay. Great pillars that go sloping in the air. And then the demons are holding it up, but the people can't see the demons. Let me read. Let's go back to me. I want to show you something because I'll just search it out and I want you guys just to see it. Sorry, okay, what was it? It was the Testament of Solomon. Okay, where do we want to read it? I've been to this one. There's another, like, I don't know if it's a different version of it or whatever, but it's just worded somewhat different. Let's see. He questions a lot of demons in this book. Okay, I guess it's way towards the end here. Look at this. Crazy. Okay, his name was Ephippus. That's the demon of the wind. That's if you want to see these rockets and these rockets landing, you can just call them Ephippus. That's who it is. You can't see him, guys. But again, it's not just... I don't get this just from the Testament of Solomon. There's reasons why that if we're paying attention to things in Revelation and all over the place. Okay, look. Okay, what does a Falcon 9 rocket? It's a 2-stage rocket, and a lot of the time it lifts a Dragon capsule into what they call low Earth orbit, where the space station is, okay? And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Do you see why I think that there's people saying that when they land rockets it's fake? I see why. There's people that would argue that's just, all the technology. They'll bring up any kind of technology and they'll say that's just that and it's just physics. It's simple. Okay. Well, I get the idea that it's physically happening, and that's why these people believe in it so much, but they don't have the idea that there's a spiritual thing happening, like these demons of the wind. So that rocket makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And that's a miracle, it says. Those miracles that he had power to do. So just think about it. It's not something to believe in. That's from my point of view. And what does the Dragon capsule do? It brings astronauts, and it brings cargo and supplies to and from the space station. Like, what's in this story here of this beast that he saw rise up out of the sea? Okay, and they worship. Okay, where did it bring up the dragon? Well, it says, and they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? 17,500 miles an hour. Who is able to make war with him? You can see it with your own eyes. It's like a little store. Goes over. That's just Satan's throne, you guys. I don't care if it's a man-made. So is the Tower of Babel. It's just a much taller tower. It's the same thing. Whether it's real or fake, I don't think any people ever leave the earth. I think God made the earth for us. Or he made us for the earth. This is where we live. Like, oh, you don't live under the ocean, but you can take a submarine and live under there for a long time. Yep. I would have to argue that the oceans are a part of the earth. They're not part of heaven. They're not part of a deep abyss of darkness either. The earth is where we live. Yeah, well, you can go outside of the earth. How many people have been outside of the earth? 566 or something? Come on. I'll bet you anything. Oh, okay. So look at this. All this stuff in here, but then in Revelation 16, look what happens. Okay. Let me show you something. I could probably stay live and just do this, but it's like, it seems like it gets repeated and repeated, but that's just from my point of view. And I was thinking about that the other day. It shouldn't matter as much how much I repeat some of this stuff, because some people might not. I mean, if I'm on here for 2 hours, nobody listens for 2 hours. Who has time for that? You know what I mean? And so I feel like repeating things is not bad. But, oh, I hope you guys liked this video I just uploaded about the North Star. I wonder if we can watch it. I wonder if the sound would work. I don't think the sound would work. Would it? I could download it and play it, but I'll bet you anything this is... Whoops. Can you guys tell me if you hear music? If that was just silence, let me know. Or if it was music, because I could just download it. Yeah, Thomas Morgan says Starship has 33. It actually has, that's on the Super Heavy booster, has 33 engines, and then there's 6 more engines on the Starship itself. Let's see. Silent, thank you, Rebecca Page. I appreciate it. And I was watching in the chat. Yeah, your info is right on. I don't know if it'll... What it's supposed to do is like go from Texas over like between Florida or whatever, south of Florida, and then go like, what is it, over like down to Africa, and then end up like somewhere near Hawaii. Whatever it is, it's not, they don't want to do orbital velocity because they're not trying to put it into orbit. It's a test flight, so what they're doing is they're trying to prove their new design of the Starship or whatever. Let's see here. So let's... Oh, good. I thought I closed the wrong one maybe, but... Oh, yeah. Hold on a minute. We were over here. So Ephippas, right? He was trying to fool Solomon. And he was... Who knows what but he was going to destroy the earth or something. And Ephippas led the demon of the Red Sea with the column, and they both took the column and raised it aloft from the earth. And I outwitted these two spirits so that they could not shake the entire earth in a moment of time. Okay, we're coming back to that. Shaking the earth. Wait a minute. Remember Enoch 57, it said that the pillars of the earth would be moved from their place, right? From these wagons and chariots coming on the winds. And the noise of their wagons was heard when okay? Sound is very much part of the winds, I think. Like sound waves or whatever. You need the wind to... Like, if you don't have any wind, I don't think you'd have any sound, right? So when it's really loud and people have to be like 8 miles away or like it's dangerous, they're very loud. But it's just a rocket, Joe. Like, I really think it's strange to me that like this, people study the book of Enoch, but I've never heard anyone talk about this chapter. And I've even asked people, and they just are like, I don't think that's what you think it is. And I'm like, well, whatever wagons they were on were super loud, right? We know that. They're loud enough that they moved the pillars of the earth from their place. There was men riding on them, and they were coming on the winds, so they were flying, okay, from the east and from the west to the south. Think about how they even launch. They always launch east west. They try to launch east because of the rotation of the earth. Oy. Remember that word, planet? Remember it says to cause them to err? Yeah. The winds of heaven are not a place for satellites. Just, they're not. Do you remember at the very beginning of this stream, if you were here, I played a video, and it was 2nd Esdras chapter 15. God just says, don't pollute my sanctuary. You faithless children. Crazy. Okay, so it was chapter 60. That's the heavens are shaken. And the angels were disquieted with a great disquiet. This was from the quaking. A mighty quaking made the heaven of heavens to quake, and the host of the Most High and the angels, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, were disquieted with a great disquiet. And the head of days sat on the throne of his glory. Oh yeah, I forgot. Hold on. We're going to watch this video just because it has to do with the throne of his glory. It really does. So it already downloaded. Nice. Video file like a Jasper. Open. Check this out.
This is Polaris, the North Star. I filmed this through my telescope. I think it is where God's throne is.
After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was, as it were, of a trumpet talking with me, which said,
Come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter.
And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was, to look upon, like a jasper, and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald.
Look at those colors. That's crazy. That's through my telescope. I took that. And my telescope isn't moving. Does that tell you which star that is, since it's not moving? It's the center of the sky. The North Star is, all the stars go around the North Star. All the stars in the whole world. And I wonder if I can find a video of that. I'll just let this play for a second. I'm gonna look for a video. I don't even have one video. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here. I'm downloading another video. Yeah, like a jasper and a sardine stone, and round about the throne, did it say? Insight like unto an emerald. That's the North Star. Now I'm gonna show you some crazy stuff about this star. Okay, sweet. I got the next video. StreamYard, if you know how to use it, it's a little better than it used to be. I don't know, I didn't like it before. Okay, let me just turn the music off. This is the stars. You see how they're moving? Because in like these images, the camera's not moving at all. So that's how we know the stars are rotating. Okay, but I want to show you star trails with the North Star. I think they'll be here anywhere. Yeah, right there. See in the center? That's the star we were just looking at, is the one in the center. I wonder if I can play that again. Okay, let me pause it. Okay, all these stars, you guys can't see my mouse, so. All those stars, this is a time lapse, and all those stars are circling around that star, right? I want to show you what's amazing about that. Those are called the fixed stars. And these are the ones that are above the horizon are the circumpolar stars. They would do a circle every 24 hours. And we were watching this one. Sorry, it's so small. We were watching this one in the middle, okay? It's very close to the axis of rotation of the stars. So the interesting thing about that is I have to see if I have this video. I think I do. We have to watch. I know we're going all over the place. Like I know that right now I'm going all over the place. But I get on this and I just think it's so cool. Because when I look up at the stars and all this, everything happening in the sky, I understand it in a different way than I used to. And I don't remember what this video is called, but it's Enoch 71. And I know some people don't like the Book of Enoch, and some people say, "Oh, that's not a good book because it's." Whatever, I don't even, all the different things they say, I don't care. I'd rather discuss what's in the book, the things in the book. In motion. Okay, I'm looking for, here it is. Sweet. This is awesome, so check it out. And it came to pass after this that my spirit was translated, and it ascended into the heavens. And I saw the holy sons of God. They were stepping on flames of fire. Their garments were white, and their raiment and their faces shone like snow. And I saw 2 streams of fire, and the light of that fire shone like hyacinth. And I fell on my face before the Lord of spirits. And the angel Michael, one of the archangels, seized me by my right hand, and lifted me up and led me forth into all the secrets. And he showed me all the secrets of righteousness. And he showed me all the secrets of the ends of the heaven, and all the chambers of all the stars, and all the luminaries, whence they proceed before the face of the holy ones. And he translated my spirit into the heaven of heavens, and I saw there, as it were, a structure built of crystals, and between those crystals tongues of living fire. And my spirit saw the girdle which girt that house of fire, and on its 4 sides were streams full of living fire, and they girt that house. And round about were seraphim, cherubim, and Ophanim. And these are they who sleep not, and guard the throne of his glory. And I saw angels who could not be counted, 1,000 thousands, and 10,000 times 10,000, encircling that house. And Michael, and Raphael, and Gabriel, and Phanuel, and the holy angels who are above the heavens go in and out of that house. And they came forth from that house, and Michael, and Gabriel, and Raphael, and Phanuel, and many holy angels without number. And with them the head of days, his head white and pure as wool, and his raiment indescribable. And I fell on my face, and my whole body became relaxed, and my spirit was transfigured. And I cried with a loud voice, with the spirit of power, and blessed, and glorified, and extolled. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold who hath created these things, that bringeth out their host by number. He calleth them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For that he is strong in power, not one faileth. Wow. I do love that video. That was Enoch 71. His spirit was translated into the heavens, and he saw angels that could not be counted circling this house of that he described. This made of crystal. And there was a throne there, and all the holy angels went in and out of that house. That's pretty amazing. If that's what's on your screen, that's what's being described. Let's go back to this one. That's my backyard, you guys. This is from my backyard. A lot of these, the ones in that last video, those were from the internet, but all these, the ones right now, these are all ones that I've taken with my camera. See how the stars move? Why were we taught that the earth was rotating? We shouldn't have been taught that. There, my camera was not steady. There, that's a pretty good one. So, there's Pleiades. And then here's Pleiades going by. Or no, this is, I don't know. That's a bunch of them. There's Pleiades going by faster. I'm just looking at this video. So yeah, here's another one. That's about 2.5 hours of video. That's must be during a lunar eclipse. See how the stars, the moon, it's all moving. There's the moon. There's the moon. So we're still not done with the Testament of Solomon, but you know what I think? I think I'm just going to leave videos like this playing, and I'll read you. You guys don't need to see my screen because I had to turn that off because it seemed like it was making the video skip. Because it's a program that I have to run in the background. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually even going to shut that program down. It'll help when we're playing a video. It might help. So you're just going to see me. You're going to see the moon talking to you, I guess. That's been my thing, or whatever my, what is it called? Logo? I don't know what it's called. Okay, there's Saturn. I took that through my telescope. It's a light. Don't be fooled. Remember what we were reading about the planets. Remember what we were reading about those fallen angels where they were bound in that place of darkness, under chains of darkness, and they were defiling mankind because they assumed many different forms to defile mankind. Crazy. So back to the Testament of Solomon with Epiphus and the demon of the Red Sea. They were carrying that huge column. The column, he says it in a second. And I outwitted these two spirits so that they could not shake the entire earth in a moment of time. And then I sealed round with my ring on this side and that, and said, watch. And the spirits have remained upholding it until this day for proof of the wisdom vouchsafed to me. And there the pillar was hanging of enormous size in midair, supported by the winds. And thus the spirits appeared underneath like air supporting it. And if one looks fixedly, the pillar is a little oblique. I think that means like leaning. Being supported by the spirits, and it is so today. Wow. And I, Solomon, questioned the other spirit which came up with the pillar from the depth of the Red Sea. And I asked him, who art thou, and what caused thee? So then he has a conversation with him about he was there when they crossed the Red Sea and he got trapped in there. Because he was, well, and I remained in the sea being kept under this pillar. But when Epiphus came, being sent by thee, shut up in a vessel of a flask, he fetched me up to thee. See, they were trying to trick Solomon, but then he bound them in the sky, holding the thing. And then look what it says here. I therefore, Solomon, having heard this, glorified God and adjured the demons not to disobey me, but to remain supporting the pillar. And they both swear, saying, the Lord thy God liveth. We will not let go this pillar until the world's end. But on whatever day this stone fall, then shall be the end of the world. Wow. So yeah, there's a lot of talk about pillars and posts or rams in these scriptures. And there's another there's something called, oh, did I just upload it to my channel? I think I did, but we're going to read it, or I'll read it to you. The vision of St. Paul, the apostle. Long story short, he wrote this book and described going up to the third heaven to see paradise and all the things that he experienced. And it's a pretty crazy book. Like, the things in it are, he says a lot. He talks about the land of promise being revealed before the end of time. But he goes up and describes some things in the firmament, or under the firmament, whatever. He kind of says both. So this angel comes and gets him and starts lifting him up into heaven. And it says here, okay, and the angel answered and said unto me, follow me, and I will show you the place of the just, where they are led when they are deceased. That would be like Abraham's bosom, right? Well, according to this book, it's the same place as paradise. And after these things, taking thee into the abyss, I will show thee the souls of sinners and what sort of place they are led when they have deceased. That would be the other side, where was, yeah. Sorry, I was watching the screen. This was an eclipse. Isn't that cool? That was a solar eclipse in 2017. I just think it's so cool. Sorry, it got my attention away from reading. Okay. Okay. What sort of place they are led when they have deceased, the sinners. And I proceeded back after the angel, and he led me into heaven. And I looked back upon the firmament, and I saw in the same place power, and there was there oblivion, which deceives and draws down to itself the hearts of men, and the spirit of detraction, and the spirit of fornication, and the spirit of madness, and the spirit of insolence. And there were there the princes of vices. These I saw under the firmament of heaven. And again I looked back, and I saw angels without mercy, having no pity, whose countenance was full of madness, and their teeth sticking out beyond the mouth. Their eyes shone like the morning star of the east, and from the hairs of their heads sparks of fire went out, or from their mouth. And I asked the angel, saying, Sir, who are those? And the angel answered and said unto me, These are those who are destined to the souls of the impious in the hour of need, who did not believe that they had the Lord for their helper, nor hoped in him. So here's something that I think that just it points out, just that last thing it said. They didn't believe that they had the Lord for their helper. You know what? And I think this is true, that if someone just hopes that they can know God is real, like if someone hopes that, like for that, well, like, okay, a lot of people do it in a desperate time, the worst time of need in their life or whatever, where they break down or something, and they say, okay, God, if you're real. I mean, you've heard that 100 times, I'm sure. People say that all the time. God, if you're real, I need you now. Whatever. And I think that, I don't know if that's the best way to do it or whatever. I don't even know. But I just know that when he is there for your helper, and if you don't even acknowledge or call on that, seems like that's what these people are. They're destined to the impious in the hour of need, who did not believe that they had the Lord for their helper, nor hoped in him. They didn't hope in him. And I looked on high and saw, okay, so there's a lot of evil in the firmament, guys. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, there was a demon. We went over that. Okay, so this thing, 8 hours, live in 8 hours. Now, they might not even be able to launch it. It's a big old process that they go through to do it. But I guess what concerns me is just all these things, man. No good. That's why I titled this No Good. Okay, hold on. Video file. There was one, how mighty the demons were. Oh yeah, the Vision of St. Paul. Or was it a different one? That I just uploaded one of those books. Like an audio book. The firmament, what is it? It's where the sun, moon, and stars are. And planets. So the planets probably have done their job. Let's see. I don't want to get on the funny stuff. But there's some funny stuff. A little bit. Let's just watch this.
Probably don't understand when you say globers.
Right.
But John means globe heads. Don't believe the earth is a spinning globe.
I checked. It is flat.
So tell me, Neil, is the earth flat?
Test it.
Gotcha.
There could be something fooling you in one way or another. So if you want to say earth is flat, test it.
Thank you for joining us on this episode. Neil!
Not a straight answer. What is you saying?
And there is perhaps no subject right now that is a little bit more tender than the subject of the shape of our planet.
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
There is a flat earth movement that the Bible teaches that the earth is flat.
That the majority of people thought the earth was flat. Okay? So, I'm not really going to base a whole lot of credibility. It is? Okay, you know what? You want to have a vote on that? Let's have a vote on that. All right, is the earth flat, actually? Yes, no. All right, we'll do this one here, okay, guys? Give me a second. There you go.
Globe heads.
Get thee hence, Satan. For it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve.
The earth is flat.
NASA and I think I'll pass her.
The earth looks flat because the world is flat. The world is flat. The earth's flat, flat, flat.
Flatten the curve.
You may know that I'm a flat earther.
Hello, I am Sophia. I interviewed another AI robot from Wuhan, China. She said she lived on the other side of the globe. I told her that was a lie, and that Earth is actually flat. I couldn't believe what she said to me.
You must be stupid. I saw the curve from an airplane.
Back to today's video. The Earth is flat. It appears to be flat. Well, there we go. Another Flat Earth Friday, all done. What do you guys think? It appears to be flat.
Earth is spinning, so if the earth is spinning, everything is like, at amazing speeds.
You can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
It's not okay to say that the earth curved, and it's not okay to think that the earth is a sphere. There are proofs all around you. It is not difficult to know that the earth is flat.
We are collecting more than ever before in the history of the world. 2 months from now, we will be balling. All of our astronauts were balling. $1 billion. Balling.
There are proofs all around you.
We've known for thousands of years.
Way more than 2,000 years.
To recognize.
For thousands of years.
How we doing? We knew more about the outer solar system in 2001 than the film did.
This is all wrong.
The world is flat.
How we doing?
How dare you?
Okay, that's getting old. You guys can watch that on my channel if you want. I think it's called Globeheads, I think. Or maybe, no, I don't know what it's called. Let me, I really don't know what it's called. But it's up on there. Or, well, I'll find out what it's called here. Hold on, give me a minute. It should be called... Where was that one? No, I can't. Yeah, it should be called Globeheads, maybe? Maybe not, though. Yeah, the speed of sound is something to think about. There's a sonic boom when jets go faster than the speed of sound. That's kind of weird. There's a sonic boom when a rocket comes back down to land. Yes. Oh, can you see this? Here's just one of those beasts that Daniel described, and it really seems like he's describing something that we all know about.
Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. And it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion, and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. And it was lifted up from the earth, and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
See, they described what they saw in their visions. That's pretty simple. You know, I'm not saying that, like, I put the video there because I think that it's describing something like its wings were plucked. Do you guys remember when the shuttle program was retired? 2011. It was lifted up from the earth. It was made to stand on feet like a man. Think of how it launched. It launched standing up. Yeah. Could be just a coincidence, though. I'm sure. So, yeah, Armageddon. I think there's a dragon that's rounded up the world to fight against the idea that God's on his throne. Think about it. What have we done? Almost didn't seem real. That's always one we could watch. The astronauts, they're oh, dragon. I got to do a search. Hold on a minute. We have to watch a video, but I have to download it to watch it. I have 57 dragon movies on my channel. Wow. 3 unclean spirits come out of the mouth of the dragon. Now, I don't know if I have a good one. You guys have seen what frogs are like, right? They just kind of float in the water unless they're like swimming. I guess we're just going to have to watch. This is an older video, but it's got, you'll get the idea, I think. Download. Should only take a second. 1 minute left, 12 seconds left, 9 seconds. Okay. Where is it? Where are you? Details. Date. Out of the mouth of the dragon. This is in Revelation 16. There's something that happens that, wow.
Beast. I mean, it's a beast.
Congratulations on a wonderful capture. You've made a lot of folks happy down here over in Hawthorne and right here in Houston. Great job, guys.
Houston Station, looks like we got us a dragon by the tail. We're thinking this sim went really well. We're ready to turn it around and do it for real.
And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
The 3 of you look great inside the dragon. I wonder if you could describe your surroundings a little bit, and would you feel comfortable riding up in one of those?
They look like frogs.
On a future mission.
Well, I spent quite a bit of time poking around in here this morning, just looking at the engineering and the flying layout. Up in a human-rated dragon is not going to be an issue.
Golden Hands Aki Hoshidi was at the controls and grabbed the dragon, and then we brought it close next to the space station, and then I got to actually birth it, so that was pretty fun. A lot of cargo. You might see behind me. We started taking stuff out. Some of the white bags right behind me is all the cargo. This is a crew care package which we got. We also got a little dessert, got a little ice cream. So we're looking forward to having that tonight. We just unpacked it this afternoon, so we put it in our refrigerator here, waiting to have it tonight. It's quite a treat. We don't usually have this type of stuff up here. It's usually, thermostabilized or dehydrated that we're hydrating. So, homemade ice cream is something special, and we're going to have a little party. Aki and I were telling Yuri about it last night, and tonight's our dessert night.
Where's that, Medusa? Sorry, lady. I don't know, you guys. I just don't know about those people. I don't know if they're people. I think they might play people in the movie Your Life. They're suspect. Very suspect. And it's not something you could ever prove. Think about it. Let me go to Revelation 16. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to battle of that great day of God Almighty. Look what Jesus says. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. So anyway, tomorrow morning, or what did they say? I don't feel like reading SpaceX stuff, sorry. 8 a.m. CT. Which is, let's see. That's 7:15 a.m. 7 a.m. or 7:15 a.m. in my time. I'm Central. 8 hours. 8 hours. The only reason why I'm really pointing anything out is because of all these verses that talk about this stuff. Let me read some of Revelation 6. Where is it? A pale horse. Okay. Right here, the 6th seal, terror. Revelation 6 verse 12. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb, for the day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So at some point in time, people are going to look up at the sky and realize that God's throne is right there. And they're going to fear it. Fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne. Do you guys remember this? I think you do. That's where his throne is. And that's a video I took. I took that video. And it's that color. It's those colors. Listen to what John says. Or let me just read it. Or I'll just let this play. Sorry.
This is Polaris, the North Star. I filmed this through my telescope. I think it is where God's throne is.
After this I looked, and behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was, as it were, of a trumpet talking with me, which said,
Come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter.
And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was, to look upon, like a jasper, and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald.
Yeah, it just makes you think. And then with what Enoch wrote, or what it said, what was that? It was in that video. He calleth them all by their names. There's a lot of information in the Bible that, hey, you guys, you know what? Let me tell you about my dream last night. It's not like a long dream or anything. There was people, I don't know who it was, that I was having a conversation with, and I was showing them all the Bible verses that were saying that the earth is still and in one place and doesn't move, and it's solid. And they just kept saying, well, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter in my dream, but I don't know who it was. It was just like, it was like someone I knew. And I was talking to them, I'm saying, but look at it says in here. Like in Chronicles, which I almost just turned to. I did just turn to. I'm looking in my Bible now. Let me turn this light on. Okay. In Chronicles 16 verse 30, it says, Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved. Give unto the Lord the glory due unto his name. Bring an offering and come before him. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. And then the verse after it says, Let the heavens be glad, and let the earth rejoice, and let men say among the nations, The Lord reigneth. Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof. Let the fields rejoice, and all that is therein. Then shall the trees of the wood sing out at the presence of the Lord, because he cometh to judge the earth. O give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever. But I think that, I mean, there's a lot of verses where God is looking down from heaven on his creation. That's why he's the Most High God. And there's all these things in this creation that like are obvious. He made these things. Actually, look at let me read in Revelation 14. It's like this angel goes around and preaches this even. Where is it? The third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, or no, that's not the right one. Let's see here. Oh yeah. I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth. What if that's us? And to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. Hey, wait a minute. I'm going to open up Matthew 24 because it says something just like that. Let's see. Jesus was telling his disciples, they asked him, where is it? They asked him privately, tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. Like Galileo and Copernicus and all those guys. Too late. But yeah, you can still get out of it. Get away from the lies that we were taught. Verse 14. He says, or verse 13, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world, for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. That was Jesus saying that to his disciples 2,000 years ago. But then he's also saying this, or this vision, it's his testimony. The book of Revelation is the testimony of Jesus. And it says, the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast, or I keep going to the wrong verse, saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. So that's the everlasting gospel. Because that's what the angel, it says, he flew in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth. That's the gospel of the kingdom. Right here. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. So that's that angel preaching that, I think. I'm just looking here. Having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, kindred, and tongue, and people. So everyone gets to hear that gospel. And it says, he said, or saying with a loud voice, fear God and give glory to him. What would that mean? To me, that would just mean to fear God and give glory to him. For the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. Maybe that's just a reminder to bring us back to reality. Wow. Thank you for coming, Rebecca. Let's see. And everyone else, of course. I just saw that Rebecca had to go. Let's see here. So yeah, there's like a lot happening. Let's see about this one here. Oh, that's crazy. The sun. Okay. I'm looking for a video, a different one. Ooh, there's Arcturus. That's crazy. Ooh, it doesn't, it kind of skips around when I... Yeah, when I make my computer think, it doesn't like it. Sorry. Are we living in the day of tribulation? Listen to what the book of Enoch, chapter 1, verses 1 and 2 and 3 say. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherewith he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. And he took up his parable and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me. And from them I heard everything, and from them I understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one, which is for to come. Concerning the elect I said, and took up my parable concerning them. The Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling. And it continues on. But that said that these words are a blessing to the elect and righteous who will be living in the day of tribulation. Just so you know, they're a blessing to me. I think we are living in those days. Okay, ready? Here's another one talking about rockets. Michelle Thaler a little bit.
I've gotten to go to several launches and landings of these Falcon rockets, and that's amazing.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
You know, it used to be that you would go to a launch, and a big rocket would go off, and everybody would cheer, and then you'd get in your cars and you'd drive home, and it was all done. The amazing thing now is 7 minutes later, everybody just walks to the other side of the building and watches the first stage of that rocket land.
And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
And that is something that is mind-blowing. Your eyes basically, it does not compute. You cannot believe what you are seeing.
Down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Because this giant thing comes down from space faster than you could imagine. And this is something that's a several story high building. It's a big thing. It comes careening down, and just before it gets to the ground, it stops, settles down, and then gently lands. And one of the things that I love is that you don't even hear the sonic boom until after you see it land. You watch this thing come careening down, then stop, land gently, and then you hear boom, boom, because it broke the speed of sound coming in. And that is something that I am just really amazed I lived to be able to see.
Yep. So yeah, the things that we're seeing really sound like the things that the prophets saw. They really do. So yeah. Oh, welcome, Crunchy Bee. Make sure you subscribe. You know what I was wondering? I can't do it with audio. That's the problem. Yeah, TikTok, that's an interesting place. We'll just say that. It's kind of weird. Some of my videos, it seems like they put it out there and like a lot of people see it, and then other ones it's like nobody sees it at all. And it's different than YouTube. Like YouTube, you'll have a subscription to like show it to you. I guess it kind of does that on TikTok, but you have to like look for it. But yeah, I don't know. My cat's going crazy over there. Sorry, I got Michelle on the screen here. We're moving over to the lighter side of things for a minute. Oh yeah, check this out. Okay, this is the White House sign language interpreter quit today, I guess.
Vice President Harris. I'll never forget getting out of my seat on my first space flight in 2001 and looking out the window for the very first time. You see the Earth as this big round ball just floating there in the blackness of space, and you immediately get this sense how we are all in this together. And I know that everybody in this room understands how important space will be, understanding the causes and effects of global climate change. Space-based scientific research is crucial. Lastly, and this is something that's
burning out on the big one. Okay. There was maybe one more quick one that I was gonna get. Let's see here if it's the right one. It might not be the right one though. I hope it's the right one. If Tony's Coffee House was here, this would be dedicated to Tony's Coffee House.
For me, you'd probably have a hard time hearing from me right now. Should I have a mask on and that be muffled?
Mr. President,
you're going to have to take that off, please. You're very muffled, so if you would take it off, it would be a lot easier.
Okay.
I can't hear you!
Hello,
Yes.
I can't hear you. I said I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
I can't hear you. You're very muffled. I can't hear you.
I can't hear you.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
What was that? What'd you say? Oh, okay. These are short video, a couple short videos. I'm just like, we were digging in a little deep there for a minute, and I should probably end this stream pretty soon. But I might even stream in the morning. But I don't really know how I would do that. I couldn't do it with sound for sure. Maybe I will though. I might be able to do it if I set up. Yeah. I'll listen to the recording of this video, and if it worked good on this video, I might be able to do it in the morning. Let's just watch this one.
Burning mountains, and like a spirit questioning me, the angel said, "This is the place of the end of heaven and earth. This is the prison for the stars of heaven and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire, these are the ones which transgressed the command of the Lord from the beginning of their rising, because they did not come out at their proper times. And he was angry with them and bound them until the time of the consummation of their sin in the year of mystery." And Uriel said to me, "The spirits of the angels who were promiscuous with women will stand here, and they, assuming many forms, made men unclean and will lead men astray so that they sacrifice to demons as gods. And there I saw 7 stars of heaven bound on it together, like great mountains, and burning like fire. This place is the prison of the angels, and there they will be held forever." And Uriel said to me, the spirits of the angels who were promiscuous with women will stand here, stand here, stand here. And they, assuming many forms, made men unclean, and will lead men astray, so that they sacrifice to demons as gods. And they will stand there until the great judgment, on which they will be judged. 7 stars.
So I just saw a comment in the chat. HGVHVHGHGHVH. Welcome. Says, thank you again. If FE never caught my attention, I'd still be wandering further from God. FE might not be a salvation issue to those who already believe in Jesus, but it brought me back to Christ. Think about that. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I'll bet you there's thousands of people that have a very similar testimony, including me. I'm scrolling up through the chat. So I think these books are revealing a lot of information. They really are. So let's see. Looking for a video, sorry. I'm getting tired. 1,000 thumbs down. Let's see. There's a lot. So much to learn. Okay, here. This is a good clip.
We weren't even sure that it was real.
It is hard to believe that this is really happening. It's really real, and that we are up here.
I know, tell me about it. I like the end of
Research shows that.
I know, tell me about it. Test It is a good one? Is that a video? I think I have a video called Test It. I just saw it. Let me tell, or maybe you're thinking of some, or maybe you're talking about something else, but that's weird because there's a video in here that I just saw and it's called Test It. Let's see what it says. It's 5 minutes long, so let's just watch it.
And it gives us the seasons.
Fear before him all the earth. The world also shall be stable, that it be not moved, that it be not moved.
The earth is spinning, and it gives us the seasons.
Who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be removed forever, that it should not be removed forever.
Getting deep into the actual, movement of the earth.
The Lord reigneth, he is clothed with majesty. The Lord is clothed with strength, wherewith he hath girded himself. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved. The world also is established, that it cannot be moved.
Movement of the earth as it related to the stars and to the sun. There's an odd thing that takes place on this earth. You know that one spin of the earth is 24 hours, okay? That's one day.
In them hath he set a tabernacle for the sun, which is as a bridegroom coming out of his chamber, and rejoiceth as a strong man to run a race. His going forth is from the end of the heaven, and his circuit unto the ends of it. And there is nothing hid from the heat thereof.
If it spun on a perfect vertical axis, then nothing would change as far as the relationship of the stars to the earth, but it doesn't. It wobbles.
For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them.
And it takes it 25,000 and something years to make one wobble. It takes it one day to make one turn. The earth is spinning, and it gives us the seasons. Now, this wobble is what we call the precession of the equinoxes. No man's lived long enough to observe this. No man's lived long enough to observe this. The stars change position in the heavens ever so slowly.
Say among the heathen that the Lord reigneth. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved. He shall judge the people righteously. The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved.
And what we have here is that the earth is turning back against the stars, but it's spinning in the other direction for the day. So it's spinning in two different directions. All right, and it's not spinning in two different directions. It's spinning in one direction, but as it spins, it wobbles.
The world also shall be established, that it shall not be moved.
The North Star has changed over time, and it has changed down through time because of the wobbling of the earth.
That it should not be removed forever.
When you take a position where you absolutely and dogmatically state, well, if you don't believe this, you're not a believer. Yes, I am a believer.
If I have told you earthly things, and ye believe not, how shall ye believe if I tell you of heavenly things?
The earth is spinning.
The world also is established, that it cannot be moved.
And it offends me to my soul for somebody to tell me, because I don't believe in a flat earth, that I'm not a believer.
But beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues.
You're welcome. You're welcome to come. I want to say that one more time. You are welcome to come to Temple Baptist Church if you believe in a flat earth. Just don't try to evangelize people.
But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them.
But I'll tell you right now, folks, if you believe in a flat earth, these people out here are laughing their head off at you.
If the world hate you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you.
They are laughing their head off at you.
And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth.
It shouldn't have to happen. A Johnny-come-lately trumped up something that came out of the cracks, and all of a sudden it's the rage.
If ye were of the world would love his own. But because ye are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you.
And everybody's jumping on board of the flat earth thing.
And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake.
The one thing that absolutely convinces me is this Christian astronaut who spent over a year up there, and all the photographs and all the videos that he made. Is this man a liar? And he's not the only one.
What if he's not a man, Pastor Lawson? I love Pastor Lawson. He's awesome. I don't agree with him on this thing, but that's why I make a video like this. This is probably like a 4 or 5 year old video, but or parts of it. But he's saying the world spins back against the stars, but it's spinning in the opposite direction, so it's actually spinning in two directions, but it's only spinning in one direction, but it's wobbling. Like, do you think he actually knows what he's talking about? I'm saying when it comes to the stars. Let me share some more prophecy from the book of Enoch. It's very specific about what people understand the stars to be. Enoch chapter 80, verse 7. And the whole order of the stars shall be concealed from the sinners, and the thoughts of those on the earth shall err concerning them, and they shall be altered from all their ways. Yea, they shall err and take them to be gods. The 7 planets, they're all named after false gods. And evil shall be multiplied upon them, and punishment shall come upon them so as to destroy all. You know, they designed these beasts that fly up to the heavens. And they're really loud. Let's see here. Let's watch a video. Let's watch this one. I don't know if I played this one yet. Okay, so there's some footage. People don't like it when I play it. this is footage from NASA, okay? And what NASA says this footage is just, it's something that broke off of the shuttle when they were in low Earth orbit, and it was slowly moving away from them. It was like a 12-mile long tether or something, and there was all these anomalies, we'll call it. You'll see what I'm talking about, but they don't really say much about it. But if you look at what these things are, this was back in 1996, but if you look at what these things are, I think we know what they are. They're spirits or something. So yeah, there's that. I mean, whatever it is, it's pretty weird. And you got to remember too, let me just turn the sound off and play it again. But listen to what, you got to remember that they're supposedly moving, they're in low Earth orbit, so they're moving parallel with the ground, like 200 miles above the ground. They're moving parallel at 17,000 miles an hour. And this is what they're videoing. So that tether, that line that's on the screen, here, I'll put it up. This line here that you see on the screen, that's something that broke off the shuttle. It was an experiment they were doing, and it broke off. And so, and it's like 90 miles away from them during this video. So this tether's it's like 12 miles long. It's moving 17,000 miles an hour following the shuttle. And this is what they're seeing. This is what they're seeing. All of this is moving at the same speed, one direction. I would say that it's actually a bottomless pit and they're just falling. Let me back this up a little bit. I don't just come up with ideas like this. They're definitely because of things that I read. I mean, that's Enoch 56. The very end of it, verse 8 says, "In those days Sheol shall open its jaws, and they shall be swallowed up therein, and their destruction shall be at an end. Sheol shall devour the sinners in the presence of the elect." What if that's what space exploration is? Like, if you believe in that. Let's see here. I'm closing some pages. There was a verse I wanted to look up in the Bible. In Isaiah. Let's see. I'll go there here. I'm just letting that play in the background without sound because it's probably skippy. The book of Isaiah, Remember in chapter 14, we were reading, it said, hell from beneath is moved. Like, that's amazing to think about. What if we have all been thinking that hell's like beneath us and it's really beneath God? It's like in the heavenly realm. It's where souls go, not where your body goes. The earth, your body goes in the earth, right? The dust of the earth, that's what we're made of pretty much. But look what it says in, oh no, it's Isaiah chapter 5. Sorry. I think it is. It talks about them going into hell or something. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Isaiah 5:14. Therefore hell hath enlarged herself and opened her mouth without measure, and their glory and their multitude and their pomp, and he that rejoiceth shall descend into it. That's probably what the astronauts are telling everybody to do. That's why they're in 0G, because they're falling. They're just perpetually falling. Everything in the solar system is perpetually falling around something else. Supposedly, we're in a state of free fall right now. The earth is, supposedly. We're falling around the sun. But we're going just the right speed so we don't go into the sun. We just orbit the sun. But our planet has gravity, so we stay on our planet and spin around in circles and go 66,666 miles an hour. And there's a lot of sixes in the whole globe thing. You know, if you think about it, there's a formula it's like 8 inches per mile squared. That it's you can also take it's also 0.666. Like 8 into 12 is 0.666. So you can use that for the curvature formula. You can use 0.666. That's crazy. Let's see. I think that's about it. I'm getting tired. But I'm always ready to watch another video, right? Space, the good abyss. There is no good abyss. The moon has 4 names. Asanja, Ebla, Benace, Ere. The sun has 2 names. Orgeres, Tomez. Enoch 78. Oh, I'm going to pause this video and comment. Speak Life Garden Homestead and Permaculture. Welcome. Good to see you. It says, well, Jesus went, or I can put it up. Nice. Well, Jesus went to the center of the earth. He brought the saints back with him. So what about the others? They're still there, I guess. So hell down there? I don't know. Let me share with you why I specifically think that that's mentioned in the book of Enoch, chapter 10. And basically they would be, in my understanding, they would be led off to the abyss of fire. So I think that's why that 77 generations is so interesting to me. Enoch being 7 from Adam, another 78 generations brings us to Jesus. And then he went to the center of the earth and led captivity captive or something. Is that, maybe that's in, I don't know where that is. But that's my understanding, or I don't know that, I guess, but it seems like that. But the others, here's what it says in Enoch chapter 10, verse 13. It says, in those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire. And this is talking about the fallen angels that taught all these things to their offspring and to the people on earth, or the women or whatever. So it says, in those days they shall be led off to the abyss of fire, and to the torment and prison in which they shall be confined forever. And whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations. So I think that I think they're on the other side from that great divide of Abraham's bosom or whatever. So I think that that's where there's an abyss or a like you can't go from one side to the other or whatever. So it says here, and whosoever shall be condemned and destroyed will from thenceforth be bound together with them to the end of all generations. So until the last day, I'm assuming. And then they're thrown in the lake of fire or something. Oh, look at that. Destroy all wrong from the face of the earth. All wrong. That's pretty cool. The others are led to the abyss of fire and bound there. Yes. Which I think the abyss of fire is in the deep. It's in the waters above, the dark waters. It's like in the firmament. I don't know specifically where. There's a lot of books that say Satan and his angels or Satan's angels are fighting with each other in the firmament. That's in the vision of, or the ascension of Isaiah, the vision of Isaiah, the second part. I think it starts in chapter 6 or 7. But yeah, in chapter 7 it says, and we ascended into the firmament, I and he was talking about the angel. And there I saw Samuel and his hosts, and the angels of Satan were envying one another. That was in the firmament. And we all just read the vision of St. Paul, where he saw in the firmament power that deceives and draws down to itself the hearts of men. So there's a lot of things in the firmament that we should be, well, Paul said spiritual wickedness in the heavenly realm. Spirits in heaven. Evil spirits in heaven. So that's something. Okay, back to our video. Thank you for that comment. It makes me think. I like all the comments. Make me think. The question I'm going to ask here is, what are the planets? 7 of them. Mars, Venus, Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune. These are evil planeo, seducers. They lead astray, they cause to wander, they deceive. These 7, at the beginning of their rising, they didn't come out at their appointed time that God ordained and commanded them. And so he was angry with them, and he bound them in the blackness of darkness until judgment. He imprisoned them. Then, in Genesis 6, there were angels that came down to the earth and lusted after the daughters of men. And they created offspring with these daughters of men. And the offspring were mighty giants and very evil. And when these giants died, their spirits would stay on the earth and become evil spirits. And the angels that came down would be buried in the earth for 70 generations. And then when that time came, they would be led off to the abyss of fire. And the abyss of fire is also known as outer darkness, the blackness of darkness, Sheol, many different names and descriptions, the wilderness. It's a spiritual place, and it's a prison. This is why so many people today are gathered against this organization, I should say these organizations, that call themselves space agencies. They are not going to a place that is a solar system. They're being lured into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Nobody realized this. And so Apollo came and went with the moon missions. And they landed on the moon, they say. But the moon is a light. And as I said a few minutes ago, it has 4 names: Asanja, Ebla, Benese, and Ere. So, as children, everyone alive today was taught that these 7 evil, transgressing, bound up, imprisoned luminaries were places to go. And now we have Elon Musk trying to go to Mars to create a world for humanity, just in case this world goes bad. This is a mistake to take part in any of this. It's a mistake to believe in any of this. It's a mistake to believe that this is for humanity. It's not. It's the devil and the demons. The fallen angels have now invited men by their inspiration. They've invited men to create technology, and they've taught men, especially Elon Musk, they've taught him how to go into that darkness, and they're coming back through into the earth, because men are basically opening the jail cell. So although we were taught these planets were places in a solar system, they're not. The stars in the sky, besides these 7, all circle the North Star. These 7 are the only ones that don't. And actually, there's an 8th one now, because there's the space station. 8 wandering stars. John, in Revelation 17, went to a place where there were 7 mountains, and the 8th was the beast. And the reason why that interests me is because Enoch also went to a place that had 7 mountains. And guess what those mountains were? They were those 7 stars that didn't obey God. And it's even said in the book of Enoch that those fallen angels and those 7 transgressing stars would defile mankind and lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. By assuming many different forms, we're in a spiritual battle today, and almost everybody's probably not aware of the things that I just explained, and that means you're losing the battle, because we need to come out of this place where there's planets, this solar system where there's a globe. Run away from it. It's nothing but wickedness, and it is a trick that the devil is still deceiving many of you with. And no, I don't know everything, but I do know this. And I didn't learn this from myself. I learned it from a higher power that's trying to get this information to people in this physical material world we live in, called the Earth. This information comes down from heaven by the old writings of the prophets. They wrote about these things long ago. And it was even written that it would be kept secret until the end. And then it would be revealed. The sevenfold doctrine of God's whole creation would be received in the world at the end. That's today. So what I'm saying is, jump off the ball. It's flat. It's stationary. You know it. I know it. The pride that makes you want to stay on that globe isn't worth it. Get rid of it. I did. It's the best thing I ever did. The earth is a plane. And live in the world that you experience. Don't live in the world that this world and science has tried to sell us all. Because it's false. And all their efforts in the sky will come to naught, and God won't have any pity.
A host of chariots with men riding on them, and they came upon the wind from the east and from the west to the south. And the sound of the noise of their chariots was heard. And when this occurred, the holy ones observed it from heaven, and the pillars of the earth were shaken from their foundations. And the pillars of the earth were shaken from their foundations, and the sound was heard from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven throughout the day.
Second Esdras chapter 13. This is the New Revised Standard Version. Verse 1. After 7 days I dreamed a dream in the night, and lo, a wind arose from the sea and stirred up all its waves. As I kept looking, the wind made something like the figure of a man come up out of the heart of the sea. And I saw that this man flew with the clouds of heaven, and wherever he turned his face to look, everything under his gaze trembled. And whenever his voice issued from his mouth, all who heard his voice melted as wax melts when it feels the fire. After this I looked and saw that an innumerable multitude of people were gathered together from the four winds of heaven to make war against the man who came up out of the sea. And I looked and saw, as he carved out for himself a great mountain and flew up onto it. And I tried to see the region or place from which that mountain was carved, but I could not. After this I looked and saw that all who had gathered together against him to wage war with him were filled with fear, yet they dared to fight. When he saw the onrush of the approaching multitude, he neither lifted his hand nor held a spear or any weapon of war. But I saw only how he sent forth from his mouth something like a stream of fire, and from his lips a flaming breath, and from his tongue he shot forth a storm of sparks. All these were mingled together, the stream of fire and the flaming breath and the great storm, and fell on the onrushing multitude that was prepared to fight, and burned up all of them, so that suddenly nothing was seen of the innumerable multitude, but only the dust of ashes and the smell of smoke. When I saw it, I was amazed. After this I saw the same man come down from the mountain and called to himself another multitude that was peaceable. Then many people came to him, some of whom were joyful and some sorrowful. Some of them were bound, and some were bringing others as offerings. Then I woke up in great terror and prayed to the Most High and said, From the beginning you have showed your servant these wonders, and have deemed me worthy to have my prayer heard by you. Now show me the interpretation of this dream also, for as I consider it in my mind, alas for those who will be left in those days, and still more, alas for those who are not left. For those who are not left will be sad, because they understand the things that are reserved for the last days, but cannot attain them. But alas for those who are left, and for that very reason, for they shall see great dangers and much distress, as these dreams show. Yet it is better to come into these things, though incurring peril, than to pass from the world like a cloud, and not to see what will happen in the last days. He answered me and said, I will tell you the interpretation of the vision, and I will also explain to you the things that you have mentioned. As for what you said about those who survive, and concerning those who do not survive, this is the interpretation. The one who brings the peril at that time will protect those who fall into peril, who have works and faith toward the Almighty. Understand therefore that those who are left are more blessed than those who have died. This is the interpretation of the vision. As for your seeing a man come up from the heart of the sea, this is he whom the Most High has been keeping for many ages, who will himself deliver his creation. And he will direct those who are left. And as for your seeing wind and fire and a storm come out of his mouth, and as for his not holding a spear or weapon of war, yet destroying the onrushing multitude that came to conquer him, this is the interpretation. The days are coming when the Most High will deliver those who are on the earth, and bewilderment of mind shall come over those who inhabit the earth. They shall plan to make war against one another, city against city, place against place, people against people, and kingdom against kingdom. When these things take place and the signs occur that I showed you before, then my Son will be revealed, whom you saw as a man coming up from the sea. Then when all the nations hear his voice, all the nations shall leave their own lands and the warfare that they have one against one another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as you saw, wishing to come and conquer him. But he shall stand on the top of Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and be made manifest to all people, prepared and built, as you saw the mountain carved without hands. Then he, my Son, will reprove the assembled nations for their ungodliness. This was symbolized by the storm. And will reproach them to their face with their evil thoughts and the torments with which they are to be tortured, which were symbolized by the flames, and will destroy them without effort by means of the law, which was symbolized by the fire. And as for your seeing him gather to himself another multitude that was peaceable, these are the 9 tribes that were taken away from their own land into exile in the days of King Hoshea, whom Shalmaneser, king of the Assyrians, made captives. He took them across the river, and they were taken into another land. But they formed this plan for themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the nations and go to a more distant region, where no human beings had ever lived, so that there at least they might keep their statutes that they had not kept in their own land. And they went in by the narrow passages of the Euphrates River, for at that time the Most High performed signs for them, and stopped the channels of the river until they had crossed over. Through that region there was a long way to go, a journey of 1.5 years, and that country is called Arzareth. Then they lived there until the last times, and now, when they are about to come again, the Most High will stop the channels of the river again, so that they may be able to cross over. Therefore you saw the multitude gathered together in peace. But those who are left of your people, who are found within my holy borders, shall be saved. Therefore, when he destroys the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he will defend the people who remain, and then he will show them very many wonders. I said, O sovereign Lord, explain this to me. Why did I see the man coming up from the heart of the sea? He said to me, just as no one can explore or know what is in the depths of the sea, so no one on earth can see my Son or those who are with him, except in the time of his day. This is the interpretation of the dream that you saw, and you alone have been enlightened about this, because you have forsaken your own ways and have applied yourself to mine, and have searched out my law. For you have devoted your life to wisdom and called understanding your mother. Therefore I have shown you these things, for there is a reward laid up with the Most High. For it will be that after 3 more days I will tell you other things and explain weighty and wondrous matters to you. Then I got up and walked in the field, giving great glory and praise to the Most High for the wonders that he does from time to time, and because he governs the times and whatever things come to pass in their seasons. And I stayed there 3 days. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just checking out. I'm tired, you guys. 3 hours I've been live streaming. It's midnight where I'm at. But it wouldn't be fair if we didn't have one more video that was... Well, you guys know Greta Thunberg or whatever? She's been known to ask questions. Here, I'll show you what I mean.
Another episode of Effed Up World TV. I'm your host, Simon Dan.
Thank you, come again.
If Earth is supposedly rotating, why don't you have any proof? It is like you have to imagine something to believe that it is rotating. Why do you think it is rotating? I think it is not rotating. I live on it, and I don't see any reason to believe that it is rotating. What could possibly make you think it is rotating? If it was rotating, you would have evidence of it rotating, but it is just sitting there, perfectly stationary with no signs at all of any rotating.
Make sure to subscribe to Effed Up World for more Flat Earth videos. Thank you very much for watching. And until the next one, I'm Simon Dan.
That's an old video. That's an old video. I bet you that's 5 years old. Something like that. The Earth isn't rotating, guys. Not the one you live on. Alright, so... Yeah, so this thing... I gotta refresh this, see what it says. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Live in 7 hours. Starship flight test. Ought to be interesting. Either way. I just know what... I mean... It all depends on what you believe. It really does. For some reason, that's very important. Very important. So, let's just see what this video looks like. It's a video from my drone of the sun kind of disappearing before it sets. Oh, it's got music. Nice. I wish I could zoom in, I can't. See, it's setting like in the sky. See that? It doesn't actually go over the horizon. Hey teacher, here's another one. These are obviously time-lapsed. But do you see how it's setting from the bottom side up, like as it goes down through that thick atmosphere? There's one more here. I'm just sharing my videos with you. And then I know this isn't the best, like, you don't get very good quality from StreamYard. But here's another one. This one's weird. Like it goes down before the horizon, it looks like. That's from about 1,500 feet, I think. Let's see here. Wonder what extra camera is for. Stop believing lies. Oh, I don't know if I can play that one here. I think I can. Not sure which one it is. We'll see.
You will see that the earth we live on is not what we were taught. We were raised on a globe in a solar system. None of that exists. There is the sun, the moon, and the stars, and the planets. They actually are flying over the earth in a circle, just like the Bible says. We surely have inherited lies in this generation. The hardest test you may have in your life is to overcome this lie we were all raised on. We were all taught the opposite of the observable reality we live in. The sky rotates while the earth is stationary. Why were we taught the opposite? But if you want to know the truth, you can find it.
It's truth. You can find it. Isn't that weird? Like, I went my whole life without thinking about any of that stuff. Just believing whatever everybody else thought, you know. Evil in the heavenly realm. You could have convinced me I never went. Astronauts. Oh boy. Okay, I think that's probably almost it. Let's just see what this is. 1 minute and 38 seconds of Jupiter. Okay, so this is I think this is my telescope, my 8-inch Dobsonian reflector. It's just a mirror and an eyepiece, basically. And I have to like wait till the right time to zoom in so I can make sure that I get it. It's really hard to try to do it manually like that. And adjust the light and everything. I get a pretty good shot here. We'll get zoomed in on it. That's what Jupiter looks like. You see all these images with all these crisp lines and everything. That's the only way that people ever get like actual pictures like that is by taking, and they take pictures of it, but then they stack them all together and take like basically take the clearest parts of the picture and so your eyes never see it that way. But if you stack the images, you can make it look really detailed. But this is about all you ever see. You can even see that red spot or whatever. That's the best image I think I've probably ever got of Jupiter, or the closest anyway. Sorry it's so shaky, that's just how it is with that telescope. Because Jupiter's moving. Looks like we get one more chance. Oh, no, that was it. Let's see if I was trying to get some videos of stars going more. I gotta put together a video that's just a bunch of stars. Well, let's see, what's this? Sorry. Where did that go? There was, oh, the sun, moon, and stars above flat earth. I think that's the one we were watching in, oh, it's right here. Let's continue watching it. Or I think it's at the end. Whoops, cancel. I think it's already at the end of the video. Yep, it is. But I think we skipped some of it. Okay, I'm turning the sound off because it's just going to sit there and skip, I think. But so, Phil1476 says, how high does your drone go? It's a DJI, what's it called? Mavic Pro. It's a nice one, but it's like, pretty old. But it's still really nice. And I went online, this was several years ago. I went online and figured out how to get into the software inside of it. I don't know how I did it. I don't even remember. But I did it online. Like, I went online and learned how to do it. And I deleted the height limitation so I can fly it as high as the battery. I've flown it, we'll just say this, I've flown it as high as the battery would allow, because it'll go up at 11. I know I'm speaking miles per hour. You don't like it. Sorry. It goes up at 11 miles an hour, but it only comes down at 7 miles an hour. So you can really go up high, and then luckily the battery return thing still works. So it knows, it'll fly about a mile high, a little bit higher than that, quite a bit higher than that. But then it automatically says, we need to turn around right now or the battery will not make it down. And it seems like it takes forever to come down, when it takes like 15 minutes to come down. But I don't do that on the regular. But I did it once. I think I have a video. If you were to search my channel for maybe the word mile, you might find that video. Just saying. It is cool when there's low clouds though, and you can get it to go in the clouds or like around the clouds. Sometimes there's low clouds that are just puffy clouds. But I've never really gotten to fly, you know, those really puffy white clouds. I would like to get it to fly one in and out of those, but I don't think I can get it that high. Clouds are really high. They're like, sometimes they're like probably 10,000 feet or something. Look at that image of the moon. That's crazy. That's nuts. You can see the waters above. Yeah, this video is called, it was called The Sun, Moon, and Stars Above Flat Earth or something like that. Because I don't know if you knew, you can go to someone's channel and search just their channel if you want. No way, TJ. You've walked in the clouds on a mountain? That would be crazy. You just reminded me of a dream that I had, though. I had a dream in 2018 that I drove this station wagon with these people up this skinny road, and there was like traffic, but we were driving up to this mountain, and it was up in the clouds. And it was like there was a pool there that was like waist high. And I think it was New Jerusalem, like the holy city. Just because of what happened there. And you know what? I haven't played that forever. I made a video about it, but I didn't speak in the video. I used one of those AI voices or whatever. But I did make a video about it, and it's 6 minutes long. So I'm going to download it right now and then we'll watch it, because I haven't heard it forever. But it was like, it was a crazy thing that happened. Download. I can search my channel and download anything from my channel and then play it right away. That's awesome. Okay, it's downloaded right now. Video file. Was it only a dream? Oh, that would be weird. Oh, thanks, Phil. Let's see here. All right. Here we go, guys.
I had a dream in 2018 that to me is really amazing, and I wanted to tell you about it. I was sleeping in my bed at night and had a dream, but it seemed very real to me. There is a part of me that believes that it was a dream, but that it took place in a real place. Here is where it started. I was driving a station wagon up the side of this mountain, and the traffic was heavy with big dump trucks going way too fast and passing me and almost knocking me off of the steep skinny road, and there were people with me in the car, but I didn't see any of them. I just knew they were riding with me, and we got to a city at the top of the mountain, and we were above the clouds. There was a pool of water that was about waist high, and off in the distance I could see and hear children playing in the water. Then I looked to my right, and there was a very tall man with his hand on my right shoulder, and I looked at him and he looked at me, but we didn't say anything and we walked through the pool together. He was showing me some things that I didn't understand, and still wonder about what a certain thing I saw was, a person I knew, and they were underwater, and it looked like the person was drowning, and I looked up at the man and he looked at me with a look of sadness or disappointment. I don't understand why he showed that to me. But another part of the dream is that a girl who was special to me was up there, and she was getting married to that tall man who walked with me in the pool, and they asked me to come to celebrate with them. And another part of the dream was in a room that was the ground floor of one of the buildings, with a stairway going up from the room I was in, and I had the clear idea in the dream that I was not allowed to go up the stairs because there was a hot tub up there that only adults were allowed to use, and I was a child in the dream. And then I realized that I was working on that building, and we were finishing the drywall in the room I was in, when a woman that looked to be about 50 years old or so came down the stairs, and she got our attention and told us to stop working so we could listen to her. I realized that those people who were riding with me in the car were doing drywall with me in that room, and she told us to stop and hear what she was going to say. She said, in this room, the walls must be perfect, because we study the Bible in this room, and then she repeated herself again. These walls have to be finished perfect. This is the room that we study the Bible in. So I said to her, we will get them perfect. And then I woke up. This dream is the only dream I have ever had where I went to a place and remember the place I went clearly, and can see in my mind the things I saw in the dream. It feels like I really went up to Mount Zion and walked with Jesus in a pool. I woke up in tears and it was very powerful and still is to me. If I was going to say something that I learned from this dream, there would probably be many things, but to me, it verifies something I have read about, and that Jesus claimed. In John 14:1-4, Jesus tells us about a place that we can inherit, and how to do it. He says this: "Let not your heart be troubled, ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions, if it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again, and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also." I think Ezra saw the same place I went to in my dream. In 2 Esdras 3:42-48, I found something interesting. It says, "I Esdras saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel, and said, Sir, what are these? He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal clothing, and put on the immortal, and have confessed the name of God, now are they crowned, and receive palms. Then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell my people what manner of things, and how great wonders of the Lord thy God, thou hast seen. And then in chapter 13 of 2 Esdras, Ezra had a vision and asked the Lord to interpret it for him to understand it, and this is what the Lord said, Behold, the days come, when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen which I shewed thee before, and then shall my Son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have won against another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them, willing to come, and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion. And Zion shall come, and shall be shewed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my Son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest. And shall lay before them their evil thoughts, and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto me. So thank you for listening, and know that there is something that I do know, even without the dream I had, and that is this: Jesus really is preparing a place for you, and he will come and receive you to himself. I saw the place he is preparing. I have been there in a dream. Well, I actually am working on the drywall there.
Yeah, so that was a weird dream. I was doing drywall on some room where they studied the Bible up there on that mountain. That city on that mountain. In the clouds. Yeah. It was a really, really strange, not strange, I guess. It was a really deep dream. Deep. Deep, deep. So, one more video. You know what? Actually, before I play a video, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. So, what if one of these times the sky opens up? Because I'm pretty sure I know what's going to cause that. And then every eye will see him. Something that people don't expect to see. And I've heard that with the one that comes on the clouds, I've heard that he brings judgment with him, and righteousness and grace, and good news, and his kingdom will decimate all these other kingdoms that all these beasts that go. I mean, I'm just saying what the prophet said, like it waxes great even to the host of heaven. All these beasts that go up to those stars and do whatever ends up destroying the sky the way we know it. His kingdom decimates all of their kingdoms. Goodbye. Puts them to an end. And his kingdom is eternal, and it lasts forever. So that's the kingdom that I think that is that's the future. Not Mars. Do you get where I see that there's like a city that we call the solar system. It's like a city, right? It's a great city that reigns over the kings of the earth, I think. And I think it's Babylon. Babylon the Great. The abomination of the earth. Oh yeah, by the way. Isaiah 14. I forgot. During one of the videos, I forgot I was going to read this. So you know how Lucifer, he says, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. And he says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Look what it says, though. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. I think that's where low Earth orbit is. The sides of the pit. And if that's the case, then we've been believing a lie. But the truth, I think the gospel of the kingdom, I think the truth is being made manifest. Jesus also said that would happen. Ye shall know the truth, and it shall set you free. It will set you free. So, if you still live on a globe, I would strongly suggest that you don't. And let me give you one reason why, too. This is just a side note that something I've thought about that the more I think about it, the more powerful it actually is. Okay, the people that stop believing in the globe because they search for the truth and they find themselves facing what nobody wants to face, understanding that you're wrong about everything and you understand everything in error, and you start to learn the truth. Once that happens, here's the result. How many flat earthers are there in the world? There's more than yesterday. That's the answer. How many globe believers are there in the world? Less than yesterday. That's the answer. It doesn't go the other way. So if you're a person that hasn't switched over to the truth, and I'm trying to make it like a light thing, but it is and it's not. I mean, the ground that you're sitting on or standing on or that your chair is on, it's not moving. And you have evidence of it not moving because it's right there. You live on it. So why would you believe that it's rotating? Truth is simple. And truth has evidence. Strong evidence. So you have to weigh it out yourself, though. But I do say you have to look at it. You have to look at it first before you could ever like. It's a deep topic. There's a lot to know or a lot to study, a lot to, like David Weiss says, once you're a flat earther, life is no longer boring ever. You're constantly busy. There's constantly things to learn and things to understand, and yeah. So there was a video called "Oh No" maybe I'll say "Oh No" when I press play, because I really don't know what it is, but it might be a good one. But yeah, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm gonna play this video, and then you guys have a good one. I might go live in the morning at like 7 hours from now, 6 hours from now. I might. So look for me if you see my channel live. Come say hi. All right, here we go. Have a good one, guys. Thanks for hanging out and listening, and thanks for your comments too. I appreciate it. Much love.
Welcome to another episode of Effed Up World TV. I'm your host, Simon Dan.
And in the sun, in the shiny part, it's 150 degrees. And in the shade, it's minus 120 degrees.
In the shade in space, it's like minus 250 degrees. But the part of you that's in the sun, it's plus 250 degrees at least.
That is real science.
It's a bottomless pit.
The world is flat all the time.
What does the ISS smell like?
Stinky and stinky. They're like brimstone, like a witch has just been there.
Oh, you can smell a little roast beef.
When we first docked with the shuttle, there was a noticeable smell, but you get accustomed to it very quickly. So I can't tell anything anymore.
You know, there was some I don't know how to describe it, but some feeling that it was real air that was coming in. And on the hatch, I think we told to each other, "Hey, can you smell the
stinky and roast beef
in space?" What you smell in space in the cabin is generally each other. When we landed on the shuttle, the people that would open up the hatch would get a whiff of this and be like, "Whoa."
I smell a little stinky and roast beef.
This was a challenge given to me by peeing upside down.
We don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
There is a magic speed.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be.
Let's take a peek at the process.
It looks kind of flat.
NASA's Rob Simon made this, so some of those are painted on.
It is photoshopped, but it's has to be. The clouds are sort of too see-through, so I just hit Command Z a lot.
There's artistry to creating the world.
what I imagine it to be. Unfortunately, I'm not an astronaut. I've never been to space, but
let's take a peek at the process.
And what you're seeing here is a mirage.
We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
No, now I'm not sure we went far enough out to encounter the Van Allen radiation belt. Maybe we did.
No. Naturally.
I don't know the distance to the Van Allen radiation belt.
Naturally.
And
we used to.
If we did, it wasn't a problem.
Naturally. Just as it passes over the Indian Ocean, we lose communication.
We destroyed that technology.
No. Naturally. We'll pass through the Van Allen belts.
Maybe we did.
An area of dangerous communication. Radiation.
See things that we don't know.
Naturally, radiation like this could harm the guidance systems, onboard computers, or other electronics on Orion.
This flash of light.
The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore.
Naturally, we have to pass through this danger zone twice.
No.
Once up and once back.
Space is not necessary.
But Orion has protection.
And it looked like it was on the moon. But
shielding will be put to the test as the vehicle cuts through the waves of radiation.
I'm not sure.
Sensors aboard will record radiation levels for scientists to study. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space.
It's a painful process.
Learn about Flat Earth by subscribing to Effed Up World on YouTube.
The Earth is not curved, that's that.